Good morning, everybody, again. Hello, everyone online. So, did you know that today is the last day of Te Wiki Hōora Tāne? Who knew that? It's the last day of Men's Health Week here in New Zealand, and this Health Week, they sent out a survey that they wanted the men to fill in, supposedly. And I don't know if I'm a man or not, but I figured I may as well do the survey. So I was filling out the survey, and there are 18 questions on the survey, and there were 2 questions that I saw that made me a little bit scared. All right. Do you feel okay about getting help when you feel down? So I want you guys, I'm going to give you 5 seconds. Would you answer yes, most times, or no to that question? Do you feel okay about getting help when you feel down? I've got a child in the back shaking his head. Okay, the other one. The next question is, do you have a partner, close friend, or relative who is there for you in tough times? I want you guys to answer that for yourselves. Yes, most times, or no. I get a nod that time. Oh, fantastic. That's great. Okay, so these 2 questions are actually huge problems in New Zealand. It's not maybe talked about too often, but you may know that New Zealand males are among the strongest men in the world. We make the best rugby players. We work on farms, dairy farms. We curl gumboots, and we walk around in our stubbies, showing off our masculine legs and big arms and our singlets. We're the New Zealand male, right? The New Zealand male is supposedly, so have you guys heard of the Movember month? This is sort of, I think, overshadowed a lot by Movember month because you get these very manly mows coming out in November. But in Movember, when they did the survey, they found that 70% of Kiwi men believe that society expects them to be emotionally strong and not show weakness, right? We also have an extremely high suicide rate for males in New Zealand. We also have extremely high rates of depression for the OECD in New Zealand males. It's a big problem. New Zealand males are more likely to talk about physical problems that you can see rather than emotional things going on in their heads. And it's a really big issue that they decide to make a whole week dedicated to it, and then a whole month in November to dedicate to men in New Zealand being more emotionally open, because it's a huge problem for us, right? So what we are going to do this morning is we're going to look at the manliest man of all men ever to walk this earth. This is Jesus Christ. He's the man, right? Jesus Christ is the epitome of the ultimate male. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at a couple of verses, and we are going to try and work out how we can be emotionally open like this manly man up on the screen here, because he was an extremely emotional character when you read through the Gospels. He's a guy that's really in touch with his emotions. He's a guy with close friends that he offloads things to. He's a guy that's willing to drop his ego. So we're going to get some ideas from Matthew 26. So can I get you guys to turn to Matthew 26 and verses 37 and 38? Okay, Matthew chapter 26 verses 37 and 38 are what we're going to focus on this morning. And by the way, to all of the females and young men and the boys and everybody else, don't worry, this is as applicable to you, but you probably already know half this stuff, right? So this is mainly for the men, but there are going to be lessons for you to learn, hopefully. You're probably getting A+ already, so it's mainly for the men. Anyway, Matthew 26, 37 and 38. He took with him Peter and the 2 sons of Zebedee, and he became anguished and distressed. Then he said to them, "My soul is deeply grieved, even to the point of death. Remain here and stay awake with me." right? So we're going to try and get 3 principles from these 2 verses so that we can find out how we can be more manly by being more emotionally open like Jesus was. Okay, so the first point is this. We need to be expressive and aware of our emotions. I'm going to flip that order. I said it wrong. We need to be aware of our emotions and able to express them, right? So this guy, Jesus, he knew when things were getting really heavy and really difficult in his life. He was aware of his humanity, the flesh that was within him, right? And he was able to show it openly. Does anyone remember any times when Jesus was able to show how openly emotive he was? He wept. Oh, yeah, we'll save that one later. Yeah, fantastic. Someone actually said the one I've got a picture of up here. Yeah, in the temple, he lost it, right? Jesus was walking through the temple and he starts going, oh man, you don't like it when I get angry, right? You're not going to like it when I get angry. So he gets out a whip, he makes a scourge of whips, and he goes, what are you guys doing in my Father's temple? I'm furious. Look at me. This is how I feel. This is a guy who's able to, these pictures are usually so good. Anyway, he gets up and he shows his emotions. He's aware that he's angry and he lets people know. He's infuriated by what they're doing in his Father's temple. He doesn't go into the corner and go, no, he gets out there, he's aware that he's angry and he shows it. All right, what's the next one? So when we were in this garden, what was his emotion? What were the things that we read in those 2 verses? What did he become feeling? He's super sorrowful. He's stressing out. He's distressed about it. So what does he do? He says, guys, I need help. Come with me. And he says, my soul is deeply grieved, even to the point of death. Remain here and stay awake with me. I need somebody with me right now because I'm feeling this way, right? He knows how he feels, right? So there are several different emotions and we need to be aware of when they overcome us, right? We need to be wary that when these emotions come upon us, we start reacting with those emotions. We may change our judgment in a way and start acting differently because of these. We actually have things called reactive, or what is it called? Reactionary emotions, right? When we start unfolding to someone about someone, we start automatically putting on these automatic thoughts and reactionary emotions. We need to step back and look at ourselves and say, how am I feeling right now? What is this emotion that's overcoming me right now? We can't always be like, no, I'm a strong New Zealand male in gumboots. I don't feel emotions. I'm driven by logic, right? No. We need to step out and be aware of what emotions are acting on us at a certain time, right? Jesus, he is able to do that. Jesus knows the emotion he's feeling and he expresses it. There's a really cool statue. I'm going to call this statue Frustrated Jesus. Because Jesus does get frustrated. If we read in Luke 9:41, I'm going to start dropping verses, but I want to move through them quickly, so good luck turning them up by the time I read them. Luke 9:41, Jesus answers after they're unable to throw out the demons, you unbelieving and perverse generation, how much longer must I be with and endure you for? Right? Jesus was feeling frustrated. I sent you guys out with power to remove demons, yet you can't even do it. And I'm frustrated about that. Right? He tells them, he knows that that's the emotion and he expresses it. He shows that emotion. So we need to be aware of our emotions and be able to express how we are feeling. Point number 1. Okay. Point number 2. We need to get some reliable friends that we are willing to be vulnerable with. I know it's scary. I know it's really, really, really scary. But we need to be able to make some good friends that we are able to offload things with, that we are able to take down this powerful New Zealand male wall and say, hey, I'm feeling bad about this thing that's happening and I need to talk about it. We need to find at least one. I would say you probably want more because maybe that one friend might be busy, but you need to find a friend or a partner perhaps that you're able to unload things onto, that you're able to be vulnerable with and connect with. Right? So let's go back to Matthew 26. Right? He's weak, and his friends, his close friends, he says, come with me, come with me. I'm feeling weak. I need someone to talk to. Right? So we know that Jesus had really close friends. He seems to have those 3 disciples seem to be like his inner circle almost. Right? So they must have been people. So what is it? The 2 sons of Zebedee, we've got James and John, and then we've got Peter. Right? And Jesus seems to have an inner circle of people that he trusts and can be really vulnerable with. And in that inner circle, I think there's like an inner circle. Who do you reckon who's the ultimate friend of Jesus? By the looks of what the gospel writer wrote himself anyway. He's like, I was on the inner circle of Jesus, right? There's funnily enough, I'm going to read 3 quotes from the Gospel of John about how John was his really, really close friend. Right? So in John 13:23, it says, one of his disciples, the one Jesus loved, it's John, by the way, was at the table to the right of Jesus in the place of honor. So Jesus had John, is that my right? Yes, in his place of honor, really close to him. In fact, whispering distance. Hey, Jesus, who's going to betray me? Right? He's really close with this guy, John. We read in John 21, verse 20, this was the disciple who had leaned back against Jesus' chest at the meal. A New Zealand male would never allow some man to lean against his chest at a meal. Jesus seemed to be cool with doing it, right? And absolutely, I've still got this one up on the board. Oh, that's all right. This is meant to be this picture. Whoopsies, right? But Jesus has this really close, intimate relationship with John. Those are the 3 friends, by the way. I sort of skipped it. Here's a really intimate moment between Jesus and John. Look how close they are together. It may not have quite been like that, but it shows the point that these guys had a really close relationship. Finally, I think this is even more intimate, by the way, this next one. John 19:27. He then said to his disciple, look, here is your mother. From that very time, the disciple, who's John, took her into his own home. So this guy, John, is so close with Jesus that Jesus is willing to trust him to look after his own mother, right? That's closeness, that's trust, right? To be like, you need to look after my mother for me. I give you, that's your responsibility now. Please look after her. So what we're trying to look at here is that Jesus seemed to have this really close relationship with John, who I imagine he would have built this relationship through trust and through being able to express how he was feeling at different times, through them being able to talk about their feelings and emotions, as scary as that seems, right? So he has this really strong relationship. And I think that Jesus must have been able to drop his walls with John and be able to express how he was feeling at different times, just like in the Garden of Gethsemane. So we need to probably have someone like that in our lives too, right? As staunch New Zealand males, we need to probably drop that with 1 or 2 of our friends and be like, hey, I'm feeling the pressure right now, right? Hey, I've got this problem and I need to let it out. I can't hold on to it any longer. We need to build these intimate, close relationships where we drop the barriers and build a strong connection. Okay, so yeah, Matthew 26:38. That's when he tells them, my soul is deeply grieved, even to the point of death. Remain here and stay awake with me. So we need to find somebody that we can connect with and be vulnerable with. We are unable to make any connections if we keep these walls up, right? We need to find someone that we can build strong, intimate relationships with, that we're able to share our problems with. Okay, that's point number 2. So point number 3. Point number 3 is we need to drop our ego. All right? A lot of us New Zealand males have a big problem with our ego. We're always, no, I'm this, no, I'm much better at this one, I'm the strongest, the best at the, and it's a big competition of ego, right? Jesus doesn't, in this saga, maintain any sort of tough guy appearance, right? When you look at him in this saga in the Garden of Gethsemane, there's no tough guy stuff going on here. This is a guy who is super humble, super meek. This is a guy that takes on the form of a servant, and then in this saga in the Garden of Gethsemane is at his weakest moment, and he's showing it to his close friends. He's able to be in this position of weakness. He puts all ego aside. So it's funny, it's almost ironic, right? That this is probably the greatest thing, what is the greatest thing he was about to do, was die on the cross to save literally anyone and everyone who's willing to come to him. He's doing the greatest action that this earth has ever seen, yet he's dropping his ego entirely while doing it. You'd think he'd be like, guys, I'm just about to save the entire world, all right? You know that I'm just about to win the whole battle against sin by myself. But no, it's nothing like that. He doesn't have any ego at all. He's sitting there being like, guys, I'm distressed. I don't even want to do this. I'm feeling horrible right now. Right? No ego whatsoever in this man. So, yeah, it's just ironic that he's able to do that in such a position. Crazy. Another thing, another example of him dropping his ego is the time when Lazarus passed away. Steve, you have any thoughts on that? What's the famous verse? Oh, he knows the verse. Sure. Oh, pretty close. Nicely done. That wasn't, yeah, it wasn't. Well done, well done. Yeah, this is the guy Jesus. Jesus has in the gospel, John 11 verse 35, there is a whole verse that says, Jesus wept. When was the last time you New Zealand males wept in front of somebody? Hands up if you have wept. When was the last time you cried in front of somebody in the past, what should we go with, month? New Zealand males, anyone cried in front of someone in the last month? Ooh, oh, I don't want to tell them. I don't want to tell them that I cried in front of them. Yeah, there's I saw probably 2 hands like this. Yeah, what about the last year? When was the last time you cried in front of somebody? Oh, I'm going too long. Anyway, yeah, this is like unheard of in New Zealand, but yet the guy that we're here to remember and try and be more like openly allows that into his gospel, that he's a guy that feels emotions. He's a guy that doesn't have the ego to say, I don't want to cry in front of people, right? He's happy to cry in front of people. He wants to show them how he feels about how much he loves Lazarus, how heartbroken he is in the saga, even though he's about to resurrect him, right? Okay. Oh, I'm trying to be less than 20. I'm nearly failing. Okay. I'm going to tell one story. No, it's all right. It's all right. Okay. Anyway, my motorbike got stolen, and I was getting it. It got stolen from outside of school, and I went after school to go and get on my motorbike. And there's all of these cool car boys that stand outside of school. There's these like 17, 18-year-old guys that have their real fancy cars and like the tough boys and like we work on our own cars. No, I'm not nothing against you, Darren, or anything. But they're like the cool, tough, work on their own cars, got sick cars. And I park my motorbike nearby where they park their like cars because I want to fit in and be cool as well, right? And I go out to get my motorbike and it's not there and it's been stolen. And they're like, oh, sir, where's your bike, sir? Where's your bike on? Are you all good? Are you all good? Do you want to ride home or like that? And I'm like, I'm there and they're talking to me and I start, because I'm emotional. I've lost my motorbike. This is my baby. I've had this motorbike for over 10 years. This has been my reliable vehicle in which I love and I've shared so many memories with it. Anyway, right? So I'm there and I'm feeling like I'm gutted. I'm so gutted. I lost my motorbike. And my eyes, I start tearing up a little bit because they're all like, I'm overwhelmed. There's like all these boys being like, sir, are you all good? Like, there's like 20 boys around me, like asking if I'm all right. And I start tearing up, and one of the boys goes, sir, are you crying? And oh man, I did it half good. I did it half good. Like I should have said yes. The ultimate man tough thing to do, judging by what Jesus would do, would be to say, yes, I'm crying. Yes, I'm sad about my bike. Yes, I'm angry about my bike being stolen. Yes, I'm distressed that now I don't know how I'm going to get around. I'm going to have to take the bus to work every day. Right? I'm feeling these emotions, but he asked me, are you crying, sir? Guess what I say as a New Zealand male? Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 not at all. I'm like, I'm not sad. I don't have emotions. Oh, no, man, I want to smash them. No, right? No, so I think I did it half good. I said, no, I'm just overwhelmed. Just so I did like a halfway, like, no, not going. But wouldn't that have been the ultimate way to teach 20 odd young males that crying is okay? As a teacher from their school that they like talk to and stuff, they would have been like, oh, it is okay to cry. But I essentially said to them, it's not okay to cry. But yeah, anyway, that's my saga. That's when I failed to be a manly man. Anyway, okay, so what have we learned today? Right? We've had a look at the manliest man of men to ever be on this earth. And we see that this man is an emotionally open guy. Jesus Christ is really emotionally open, still is to this day. Right? So there's 3 principles we can draw from those 2 verses. We need to be aware and expressive of our emotions. We need to get some close friends that we are willing to be vulnerable around and open with and connect to. And finally, we need to drop our ego, right? We need to drop that. And we need to learn that if we are more emotionally open, it's going to be way better for us. We're going to be able to deal with these problems that we have, and we're going to be just a little bit more like this guy. So yeah, thank you.